All right, we're starting a new section. This is geometry, and that's what this whole section is going to cover. So we're going to go over a little bit of review topics. We're going to talk about identifying polygons, and then also we're going to choose the appropriate measurement. And then we're going to get into triangles and move forward from there. All right, so sorry, I didn't mean to do that one. So let's talk about the review. So this I'm going to put under 10.3 part 1, just to let you know, and I should say 3 there. A polygon is closed, two-dimensional shape classified by the number of its straight-lined edges. So if we have 3 sides together at what's called vertices, those are corners, this is called a triangle. If we have 4 connected vertices with lines in between, this is called a quadrilateral. And quadrilaterals can come in many different shapes. They can be squares, rectangles, parallelograms, trapezoids, etc. If we have a 5-sided figure, we have a pentagon. If we have a 6-sided figure, this is a hexagon. 7-sided is called a heptagon, and finally 8-sided is an octagon. Okay, so that's what they look like. There are different types of quadrilaterals. Remember, quadrilaterals have 4 sides. And I listed a couple of them earlier, but here is what they are. So trapezoid has 1 pair of parallel sides. Parallel sides mean the 2 sides do not touch. They never intersect. So this side is parallel to that side. A parallelogram has 2 sets of parallel sides and no right angles. So the top and the bottom are parallel to each other, and then the 2 sides are parallel to each other. A rectangle is a parallelogram. However, all 4 right angles are at the corners. So right angles, by the way, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight what I'm talking about. The little boxes there means a right angle. And when you see that, it measures 90 degrees. Okay? We'll talk about that a bit later. A square is a rectangle. However, all the sides are of equal length. So they're all equal. And all 4 corners are also 90-degree angles. And finally, a rhombus is a parallelogram with all sides equal, 2 sets of parallel sides. So it looks like you take a square and you push it over, but the length of all the sides are the same. So that's what's the difference between a parallelogram and a rhombus. A rhombus has all sides with equal measure. Okay, now here's another thing that should be reviewed for you, but if it's not, it's okay because we can learn it now. There are 12 inches in a foot. So this is a conversion I'm going to use. And in the science classes, also in math, we use unit fractions to be able to solve things. So for instance, 1 foot is equivalent to 12 inches. So we can make what's called a ratio out of this. Or I can say 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. And if I multiply these together, I will get the value of 1. In addition, 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. Therefore, a unit fraction can be used to form that. So I can say 1 yard over 3 feet, or 3 feet is equivalent to 1 yard. Again, if I multiply these together, I will get the value of 1. So let's go ahead and do these problems. The first one says convert the measurements 4 feet into inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 4 feet over 1, creating a unit. And now I want my units to cross out. So I'm going to put feet on the diagonal and inches on top. Whatever you want to end up with should be in the numerator or the top of the fraction, in this case a ratio. Okay, now we use the fact that 12 inches is equivalent to 1 foot. So what happens is the feet cancel out because feet over feet is 1. And then I get 4 times 12 inches over 1. So 4 times 12 is going to give me 48 inches. Okay, so that is the conversion, 48. Okay, let's do this next one, 18 feet, and we want the answer to be in yards. So 18 feet over 1. Again, I have to have feet on the diagonal, and I have a measurement that converts from feet to yards. Again, I want to end up with yards, so I want that in the numerator. The feet will definitely cancel out. And by the way, there are 3 feet in a yard, so I need to put that together. Now what I have left is 18 times 1 over 1 times 3 yards. Okay? And I accidentally wrote a 3 up there, so let me fix that. So it's 18 times 1. So this becomes 18 over 3, which equals 6 yards. Okay? So the answer is going to be 6. All right, let's do the next one. We're starting with inches. So again, put 40 inches over 1 times, I want the inches on the diagonal because I want it to cross out and I want to end up in feet. So whatever you desire should be in the numerator. Okay, so there are 12 inches in a foot. So I put that there. The inches will cancel each other out and I get 40 times 1 over 1 times 12 feet. Okay, so this becomes 40 divided by 12. All right, so I need to do a little bit of math. This is, by the way, you will need a calculator for this whole entire section. When I divided the two, I got 3.33. So this is equivalent to 3.33 feet. On my math lab, it should tell you where to round, like if you have to round to the hundredths, tenths, or to a whole number. But anyways, I'm going to leave it as 3.33. All right, finally, we have 18 feet squared. And I put that over 1. Again, feet squared are going to be in the denominator. And inches squared is what I want, goes up in that numerator there. Now, just because it's squared, it's the same thing. So there are 12 inches in a foot. Again, I'm going to cancel out those feet squared because they are on the diagonal from each other. So when I do that, I get 18 times 12 over 1. And 18 times 12, I got to be 216. So this is inches squared. So square root inches, 216. All right, moving on. 384 inches squared, and I want the desired result in feet squared. So again, 384 inches squared over 1. I want those inches squared to be on the diagonal, and I want my answer to be in feet squared, so that should be in the numerator there. Okay, so again, 12 inches equals 1 foot. So I get 384 divided by 12. When I multiply that out, and when you do that, you get 32 feet squared. And finally, this one I'm starting in inches, so 126 inches over 1. And I know the inches have to go on the diagonal, but I do not have a measurement or a conversion from inches to yards. But I do have inches to feet, and I do have feet to yards. So you might have noticed that I put the inches on the diagonal. That way I can cancel them out. And then I had the feet in the numerator, but remember I want it to be in yards. So now I have to multiply another one where the feet are on the diagonal and the yards is what I want. So at the end shows what I want. Okay, so let's fill this out. There are 12 inches in a foot, and there are 3 feet in 1 yard. Okay, so I get this. Inches cancel out, feet cancel out. I get 126 times 1 times 1 over 1 times 12 times 3. Okay, so when I do that math, I get 126 over 36, and that equals 3.5. So the answer is going to be 3.5 yards. Okay, so you had to do a little bit more work with that one, but that's how you would do a conversion from inches to yards. Okay, I'm going to stop, and what we're going to do is we're going to pick up, and I'm going to call this 10.3 part 2. Okay, all right, thanks for watching, and please